Welcome everyone to today's interview. This is kind of a unique thing. We have an interview with Mukhriz, who is a professional trader. He is a student of Second Skies, and he has transitioned into the world of professional trading. He's been doing this for quite a long time. And we thought we'd want to do an interview with him to talk about his experience, his process, some of the challenges he's gone through, and some of the things that really helped him along the way to make the jump and to kind of make that transition full time into a professional level, and what his experience is now that he's there. So welcome, Mukhriz. It's good to talk with you here. So thank you for doing this interview with us. And I know the Second Skies community and the YouTube community, which is going to see this, is going to really appreciate this. So my first question for you is just kind of tell us about Mukhriz, where you are in the world, to everywhere, where you are in the world, your professional trading experience, what markets you trade, do you day, swing, position trade, and just some kind of basics about your trading strategies.
Thank you, Chris, and this is a very good opportunity, and I'm privileged to be with you today. Okay, I'm based in Brunei. That's a country in Southeast Asia, just neighboring with Malaysia and Singapore as well. I have been trading actually since I think started in 2004 with Forex trading, and then after that, there's up and downs, and then keep on trying to change one strategy to another strategy, just to get try to get the best of profitability in any trading. Even towards the extent that I tried to have a robot, buying a robot to do the trading, but eventually it fails after a few months when the market reverse suddenly. If I'm mistaken, there's something to do with NFP at that time, and then all my $10,000 equity is becoming $2 only at that time. You just see in overnight, in one night, everything's gone. And then after that, I try again to do other tradings, still on the forex trading. And then I found your website at that time, back in, if I'm not mistaken, 2012 or 2013 at that time. And then that's the time I very keen and interested in Ichimoku trading, and then of course the price action as well. And with your course, I have better understanding, especially on the price action, to to combine it with the Ichimoku trading. It is a very good, introduction to Ichimoku with your course. And then, of course, after that, I try to, perfecting the skills of reading the Ichimoku charts. But basically, the most important thing for all trading system or trading strategy, price action is very important.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And are you day trading now, swing trading, position trading? What markets do you mostly focus on right now? Like, where's your biggest concentration of trading activity?
Mostly, my concentration on trading activity is mostly doing swing and position trading, and of course, day trading is new things to me. I only started day trading back in 2017. And then, of course, day trading requires a lot of discipline in order to be successful, and a good thinking on where, especially where to exit when things goes wrong. And mostly, I traded on the New York Stock Exchange, the US markets, and the Malaysian market as well. For the Malaysian market, I never do the day trading because of liquidity. It's not as liquid as in the US. Yeah.
And is there so for trading the your markets, the Malaysian markets, is there generally sectors that are stronger than others? Like right now, tech is really big in the U.S. markets. Basically, I'm sure you're trading a lot of tech, but in your home markets and things like that, where is your biggest concentration of activity?
Well, the unique thing about the Malaysian market is it always follow what the US market is developing. If it's technology, biotech, or healthcare, it will try to replicate as well, because they have the kind of same industry in the Malaysian market, because some of the industry sector is subcontracted to like the giant like Apples or Intel. So whatever is happening, for example, the technology stock is going up in the US. it also replicating in the Malaysian market as well. Yeah. So we just follow what is happening in the US market, and then we again during the day after the US close, we try to see what's happening in the Malaysian market, and from there we can have some it's just like the US market is the leading indicator for the Malaysian market.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so you are building your own prop trading firm and team right now. Were you trading with the prop firm before this? Were you trading with any outfits? And so, tell us about that kind of experience leading up to you wanting to open your own firm.
Oh yeah. Um, well, initially in 2017, I was trading with one of these day trading education firm in the US.
Okay.
I got a training over there, and then get a funded account from there as well. And from there, I began the day trading. Of course, the earlier stage is very hard. I get a lot of failures, but eventually, after I think less than a year, I perfecting the strategy and then become successful on day trading. And from there, I have the idea to have to open up the idea of opening our own prop trading for that one. And essentially, of course, the most important thing in trading, as I mentioned earlier, discipline is very important.
And do you have, for the capital that's being provided for your trading firm that you're starting and your traders, are you supplying all the capital? You got outside investors that you've kind of brought into the situation? So how's that kind of working out?
We have our own, but mostly there will be a lot of outside fund as well from overseas to fund the prop trading firm.
Gotcha. And so before trading, which you've been doing since 2004, I think you said. So what was your life before trading? What was your study in the university, work experience? Tell us about that. Was it stuff that was very amenable and transitional into trading, or was it something totally different?
It's more towards transactional. I started working in the financial industry, in the banking industry, in 1996, and from there I get exposure with this treasury department within the bank, and from there I understand the mechanics of making money in forex at that time, and then overnight interest rates and all that thing, and it looks fun. And then some of the managers is at that time was trading the stock market in Malaysia as well, and it looks fun, and then what interested me at that time is that this manager always have extra income of the trading, the stock market, and then he always announce and treat us after he has a profit every week. So that really interests me, and then from there, yeah, I tried to search for trading education at that time. But of course, during that time, it's very hard to find one. Back in the 90s, it's very hard. Only after 2000 is very easy with the internet.
And so now that you had some experience in investment banking, you got experience with treasuries, Forex market. And so, then, probably late, like what, 98, 99, that's when you started to get involved in Forex trading?
I started the Forex trading 2004.
2004. So between the late 90s and 2004, you weren't doing anything, but it was just kind of interesting to you, it was in your mind, basically.
Yeah, basically that, and then I tried to learn something and how the bank do it, but of
Right.
course at that time the entry level is very hard to get into this kind of career or business. Everything is being controlled like the big names, in which individual maybe have is it's not accessible. The cost to access is very very high at that time.
So you've been involved in the retail FX market since early on, very early stages. From
Yes.
your experience of what you've seen in changes over the last 16 years, what's your thoughts of the markets, when you first started versus now? Like, what's your interpretation of the markets now, and how would you compare them to the markets when you were first starting?
The markets, I think the markets, I think the broker is the one who can change the landscape at the moment. Uh, but if we look at the chart, if we look at the price action over the 16 years, over the 20 or 50 years, it's almost the same.
Okay.
Most important thing, as I mentioned, price action.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, from your experience working in investment banking, working with the traders, and then now yourself trading professionally, what would you say are the top 3 skills a trader needs to succeed in trading long term?
Well, it's for me, the skill that they need is actually discipline. They need to have they need to create a business plan or a trading plan, and then they have to stick to the plan, and then don't break the plan. So everything is about discipline.
And do you plan on implementing kind of methods or protocols for your prop trading team that you're building to help them stick with the plan? Do you plan on teaching them certain mindset tricks that you've learned along the way to that you've been able to use to help you stay disciplined when things are challenging? So, what are you planning on teaching to your traders to be like, hey, these are the top 3 skills, and in terms of discipline, this is what you really got to focus on.
Yeah, I'm going to share that. And there, I'm developing the course actually for the new traders on that one, especially on you need to understand the market participants and what the broker can do and what is the available option is there, and then of course trading strategy, and of course the trading discipline that is being required for anybody to be successful. And of course, I will place a stringent stop loss level as well in order to see how the traders will be doing or perform over over the first 3 months.
So will you have like max risk per trade, max risk per day, week, month? Like, what kind of risk profiles will you have built into your training?
Okay. On the first month of the training, I will allow them to have 1,000 stop loss, a
Okay.
1,000 stop loss, and they need to trade at least 100 trades in a single day.
Okay. So we're
Completely
talking mostly more like scalping and very short-term trading then.
short-term trading, yeah, short-term trading. Then after that, on the second month, I will allow them. I will reduce the stop loss to about $200 stop loss, and then they need to trade. They need to have at least 50 to 60% accuracy at that time.
Okay.
And on the last month, the last final training, that is on the third month, they must have at least a stop loss of only $30. And
So
of course,
you're Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, and then trading at least again another 100 trades a day.
So the goal of curtailing the risk is in the beginning you're keeping it wide because they're going to probably make more mistakes. They're
Yes.
going to, and is that $1,000 per trade or is that $1,000 for the day?
$1,000 for trade. Then
Thousand
I will,
dollars per trade. Okay.
yeah, and then on the second month is for the day,
Okay.
$200 per day.
And so you're reducing it because you're expecting, hey, as they get more experience, they should be able to continue to reduce the size of the stop loss and reduce their risk as they go on.
Yes, and then they should already able to recognize the chart pattern in the chart.
Will you expose them to trading simulators or practice sessions or things like that? Will they start? I'm assuming they'll start on a demo first, and then you'll transition them to live. So what's that process going to look like?
The process will be for the first 3 months. It will be on a simulator, like a demo accounts, and then after that, once we convince they are able to reduce the losses to only $30 per trade, then we are going to allow them to use the real fund.
Okay. And will they be trading? So they're going to be trading mostly the U.S. markets for this short-term scalping. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And will this be large caps, mid caps, small caps? What kind of stocks do you focus on, or will you have them focus on for this?
Well, it all depends on the volatility at that time. Mostly will be on mid caps, but of course, if there's opportunity for the big caps, then we go for the big caps as well.
Just out of curiosity, why did you focus on mid caps? Because I've noticed lately that I've been shifting more of my trades. I'm moving away from the anything below $3 or $5, and I find more of my trades are kind of between the stocks between say 10 and 40, $50. So I've been moving myself more and more towards mid caps. So why did you start moving towards, and focusing on mid caps?
Well, it's more towards volatility, and it's more towards volatility. And then I found out that stocks that is at least $10 and upwards have better, like they are more respecting the chart pattern and the price action behavior rather than the stocks below $10, because below $10 there's a lot of volatility there,
And
and
spreads obviously as well.
yeah, the spread is too high as well, and then they can just what do you call it, whipsaws.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of that lately. So I mean, the volatility has been quite strong as of the last few months.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to be focusing on mid caps, and you're going to reduce their stop losses. They have to trade 100 times a day. So I'm assuming they're going to be trading mostly on 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute time frames, very low time frames, I'm assuming.
Yes, mostly will be on the 1 minute chart.
Okay. And will you be focusing on scaling into positions and then scaling out, or are you trying to have them mostly, get in, get out within a few minutes kind of thing, and then rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat?
Yeah, it's more like it's more like scalping. In and out, in and out. Yeah,
Okay.
that's the strategy. I try to focus to deliver with the traders as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. And so scalping, that's all right. And then what, was there courses that you had taken along the way that had kind of turned you on to scalping, or was that something you kind of fell into on your own as you started to experiment and build your own strategy? Was that something you just kind of started to play with and then you realized, oh, I really enjoyed this type of trading? Like how did you get into scalping?
Again, to scalping again from the trading education that I have from TradeNet, because the potential of getting a lot of money from there on a daily basis is there. The potential is there. That's why I see a lot of yeah, more potential in profit
Yeah.
on the scalping strategy as well. Of course, over time, I will also allow them to trade on the 15-minute chart. But the issue with 15-minute chart is that the stop loss is getting higher the year.
And will you be doing more of the higher time frame trading for your local markets, or will you be including the U.S. markets in that as well?
I include the higher time frame, especially on the daily time frame, for both the Malaysian market and of course the US market as well.
Okay.
I consider this higher time frame as the just like a foundation for the trading, or bread and butter of the trading. If their trading has its up and down, that can cushion it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so will you segregate your traders into kind of groups like, hey, you guys are just scalping, and then you over here are doing kind of the swing trading, or are you going to try and teach them both and have them do both?
They will do both of them.
Okay. So the scalping, they're going to be in and out 100 times a day, but then they're also going to have the swing trading, which they're going to be holding positions overnight. Will you be using, in terms of these positions that you're holding overnight, are these positions you're going to be holding for just days, a few weeks? Will some of them go longer for months? Tell us what kind of time horizons we're looking at.
The time horizon for the swing will be on a weekly basis, so on a 5-day trading basis only, and they will not hold any position over the weekend.
Okay, so no holding over to curtail overnight or weekend risk. Okay. Will you include options in this at all, or no, because it's short enough time horizon, you don't really need options?
No, we don't need any option for that because of shorter time horizon only.
Okay. And so from your experience, you've seen a lot of traders, you're working with traders, you're teaching traders. What would you say, what do you think are some of the biggest obstacles for traders? Like, so for example, we don't know the real statistics. We only have some anecdotal studies, and they're very incomplete studies about who's profitable and who's not. The general estimates are 90% are not profitable and 10% are on any given calendar year. So, starting January 1st to the end of the year, out of every 100 traders, only 10 will be profitable and 90 will not. Why do you think that number, why do you think that number is so skewed? I know that 10% seems to be kind of a staple for many businesses, like in, YouTube channels. Like you look at YouTubers today, which has blown up recently, only 10% of them are making really good money. If you look at, say, podcasters, like Joe Rogan, him recently selling and doing that big Spotify deal, less than 10% of the podcasters are successful and the rest are not. Do you think that that is kind of just a general thing of all high skill level endeavors, or do you think there's something unique to trading that really makes it that much harder? And if it is unique to trading, what are those things that you think that so many traders struggle with?
Yeah, this is unique to trading as well. For me, it's unique to trading because I think the issue comes to what is really their intention in trading. Because mostly people see trading as more like a quick reach, scheme. It's a way to wealth because of Hollywood is making this thing that Wall Street is where the wealth is coming from, and then it all coming like focusing on trading. I think this is the wrong mentality for every new traders, and then they're just they're thinking that they are able to make money on day one, and then at the same time they are forgetting about the real discipline to be consistent, to be profitable consistently. And then they sometimes try to break the rules as well. Whenever they are facing with losses, or especially on consecutive losses over time, and then they try to break the rules, and that's the reason why they fail.
Will you be using analytical software to, help your traders and analyze their performance? And if so, what kind of analytical software do you plan on using to kind of, will it be something that you create in the back end, or will you be using specific trading journals that, hey, this is where we're plugging all your data in, and this is where we're analyzing your performance, and this is how we're going to kind of extract as much information from this as possible? So what kind of software do you use to help with that?
Well, I'm still looking for that software. At the moment what I'm doing is more towards a simple actual Excel sheet in
Okay.
order to assess the traders on a daily basis.
Why do you think that there's a lot of software, there's robots galore, there's so many platforms today, but yet the broker industry for some reason hasn't caught on to the fact that it seems like it would be in their best interest to some degree, unless they're running massive B-books, but it seems like it would be in their interest to have trading journals built into the trading platforms, or at least some, decent analytics built into the platforms. Why do you think that part of the industry is lacking? Because I've only seen a few good trading journals out there. Very few pieces of software do a good job of analyzing a trader's performance and data. So why do you think that's such an underdeveloped area in the trading industry?
I think more towards like the broker need a lot of money from them.
B-book. So they're running B-book is what you're thinking.
Yes, yes, yeah. So
Yeah, that's a part of the industry that's kind of it feels like a conflict of interest to some degree. I
yeah,
get it. You're a market maker. You're just trying to connect buyers and sellers, but the B-book thing seems like it's a step above that. I know some brokers that don't run B-books, and they consistently have a lot less capital than brokers that do run B-books. And
mm,
so I get it. There is a survival instinct out there, but it seems like you could still, because in my opinion, if I don't, I haven't run a brokerage. I've worked for a brokerage, but I haven't had my own brokerage yet. It's something I'm considering down the line. But I would rather have more traders that are in the game long term, because client acquisition is expensive for brokers. When I was working at FXCM, they were spending on average about $3,000 a client, and those clients were generally gone inside 6 months to a year. And a lot of times we would not make up that capital in trading revenues from them. So giving them the tools to stay in the game longer, they're going to eventually increase position size, which means bigger commissions, bigger spreads over time. It seems like it would be in their best interest to help their traders grow their accounts, because if I have 1,000 traders that are trading 100 standard lots, in the FX market, I'm going to be getting a lot of commission on the spread versus trading against them. So yeah, it seems like a strange portion of the industry that, needs to kind of be adjusted a little bit. With that being said, COVID-19 has changed the markets in a way that, we might not see for ever again in our lifetime. From your experience, you've been in the markets now for over 2 decades, both in investment banking and now on the trading side. What do you think are some of the long lasting impacts of the coronavirus in terms of markets, trends? Do you see, where do you see markets going from here? And where do you see things kind of changing and how they're going to be changed over the next 1 to 2 years from now?
What I can see, other industry that is non-trading industry, it may change. Some of them may, not recover well. But what I can see, to what I have, have some discussion with other traders as well, with other trading coach as well. They see now there's a lot of spike in trading activities. And for instance, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was the oil market or the gold market. They started to have, the receiving up to 2 billion application. I mean, in terms of money, in terms of fund from the retail traders. So they see a spike in new traders when the crisis occurred, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. And also people, being attracted to this, what do you call it, crisis investing.
Mm-hmm.
And then they try to, scoop everything from the bottom while the market is still, going downward. I don't know what happened to them, but as far as I know, there's now more new traders is coming to the trading industry.
Do you think that once things start to go back to normal, because, a huge group of traders that have come to the market recently have been sports bettors, people that are involved in sports betting and gambling, and sports has been down.
Yes.
Do you think that a lot of them are going to, stay, or do you think that once sports are back online, they're just going to go back to their bread and butter? Like, how much of this do you think is going to be like gains that will be locked in for the future, in terms of the trading industry and new traders coming to the market?
I'm not really sure on that one, but I have seen the spike, like in the Malaysian market, they see the increase of about close to 50% increase from normal. Then when the industry start to open, they see a reduction from there. I think uh, they may stay on the the bread and butter before that they have on gambling spot betting.
So 50% in volumes or in total number of traders?
In terms of volume.
In terms of volumes. Okay.
Yeah, volume.
Okay. And are you starting to see, more, like I'm starting to see younger people come into the trading market than ever before. When I first started trading, which is 2001, 2001, the idea of a 14-year-old or a 16-year-old day trading was kind of unheard of. It didn't really fit the profile. But now you're starting to hear about kids that are 14, 16. I've heard of even a 10-year-old that, I actually had a 10-year-old on my YouTube video the other day on one of my live seminars. I'm like, 10? I couldn't even imagine trying to trade at 10 years of age. So are you seeing that the younger community in Malaysia and in Brunei and things like that are starting to get more and more interested? What are you seeing on that side?
Yeah, I'm seeing that trend as well. And then what is very interesting as well, especially on the day trading, the one that is, inclined to be a very good performer is the one who is younger and who are accustomed to, gaming. Because
Right. Fast
this one
reaction.
is, yeah, the action is there, and then they can react much faster than we do.
Hmm. So yeah, they're used to processing information faster, and they're already trained with, recognizing patterns and things like that inside the video game, so it transfers over. That's very interesting. Okay, so that's interesting. So if you do a lot of short-term trading, but you probably do some long-term investing, not just your swing trading for a week, but you probably have some long-term investments, things of, maybe in real estate or 401k type thing, like your retirement funds and things like that. In terms of your long-term, medium and long-term investment ideas, where are you starting to kind of move your capital? And, where are you starting to see opportunities over the next 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year horizon?
What I see is more towards the gold market. After some portion of my profit is going to the gold market as well, buying the real gold, the physical gold as well, and of course trading in the gold market as well. But the large portion is more towards the physical gold, and of course I also invested some in the cryptocurrency, more towards the Bitcoin.
More towards Bitcoin. Okay. And so are you investing in gold and Bitcoin because, the Fed's printing just enormous amounts of money? Are you doing it as a hedge that you're worried about those, the currencies devaluing? Or is it more of that you see that people are losing faith in certain currencies and so you want to hedge against that? Like what's the thesis and idea behind, hey, I want to be involved in gold and Bitcoin?
It's more towards hedging. For me, it's more towards hedging. And then we all know that gold uh, is never depreciate in value. It's always on the appreciating in value. And for Bitcoin, I think more towards now, I see that there's stability in Bitcoin at the moment. Of course, volatility may be there. Now Bitcoin is ranging between 8 to 10,000 only, the price range. And I don't know when it will be stabilized or going to spike off. But I see there is a value in Bitcoin at the moment. Of course, I'm not investing heavily in Bitcoin if compared with the gold.
What do you think are some of because gold is kind of an easier thing for people to understand and invest than, say, Bitcoin. Bitcoin's much more complicated. Do you
Yes.
think the biggest challenge to people getting involved in Bitcoin is because it's more complicated? Or, do you see other hurdles involved in why people, I mean, there's definitely a lot of energy around Bitcoin, but it seems like there's more talk today about gold than there is Bitcoin right now. So,
Because when I talk about Bitcoin to the general, the working people and towards people on the towards the retirement age, they don't understand about Bitcoin and the knowledge. Even though you share the knowledge about Bitcoin, they don't see any logic on Bitcoin because Bitcoin there is no underlying fundamentals or what community it is. People only see it like a digital chips that has it just being created by the computer from from the blockchain, and then they don't see any kind of value over there. What if they say uh, the computer is crashing down? What happened to the Bitcoin? If compared to gold, gold has been in existence for thousands of years, and people still value gold no matter what is the size of the gold. So they can see physically, they can carry it, they can hold it. For Bitcoin, it's somewhere in the cable, somewhere in the virtual world. That's why they don't really much value on Bitcoin.
do you see gold breaking, if I remember correctly, its all-time highs back in 2011 was like around 1900. Do you see gold breaking those all-time highs this year? Do you think it'll be next year before it does that? Do you see it pulling back? Where do you see gold, kind of going from here?
I will see that it will break maybe by end of the year or early of next year, breaking the
Okay,
1009, or perhaps it can go towards 2000 as well.
2000 as well. And do you see it at that point having a little bit of a pullback before and stabilization before it starts another run? Because this was a 9 year, 8 year, after hitting 1900, it was 8 years of kind of basing and bottoming and a few jumps, but nothing like we had seen this year. So,
Yeah.
this was the first year that it really made a serious bull move since 2011. Do you see a similar repeat, or do you feel like it's going to build a higher base and then slowly build up to higher levels from there?
I would say that of course there was some correction before that. Uh, I would agree with you that gold may be building some higher base before it goes to another new high.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I was thinking on that. So, All right, so we got one more question, then we're going to do the rapid fire, questions here, basically. So, if you could go back in time, early 2004, and you could see your younger Mukhriz there sitting at the trading desk, if you could tell them anything and give them any sort of trading advice, what would you give the younger Mukhriz? What advice would you give to him?
I will advise him not to trade real money first, get a proper education, learn as much as possible, practice as much as possible, recognize the chart pattern, understand the price action, then trade the real money.
Gotcha. That's good advice. So, all right. So rapid fire, I'm just going to say like one or two words, and then you're just going to come out with first thought, best thought, and try and answer it within just a couple words. So, all right. The first one is money.
Value the money.
Money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Trading.
Trading is what? Discipline.
COVID-19.
Opportunities.
Tesla.
The new future.
Fear.
Again, discipline.
$1 million.
That's the dream, the goal.
Favorite trading book.
Favorite trading book. The Super Trader from Bantam.
Trading indicators.
Moving averages.
Options trading.
Only if you know that thing.
Favorite musician.
Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi. I got a funny story to tell you about that. And the last one is success.
Discipline and persistence.
Persistence. Okay, so at this point, how can traders find you if they want to learn more about you? If they're in your region and they would like to go through your training or train with you, where can they find you? What's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Yeah, they can get in touch with me through my website, worldwideweb@quantdynamic.com. They can learn more about that things, and they can communicate with me from that website as well. And then I also run a weekly blog about the market commentary and analysis as well. And of course, I also discuss a little bit about trading behavior, trading discipline as well.
Okay, so I'll make sure I leave a link to your website, quantdynamic.com, in the description of the video when we publish this. So the funny story about Bon Jovi, I was in Bali in 2015 I was going to be doing a trading seminar in Singapore.
Oh, okay.
And so my girlfriend was already in Indonesia for a women's Buddhist conference. We met in Bali for a little vacation. Then we were going to fly to Singapore.
Mm-hmm.
The day we were going to leave, a volcano erupted in Indonesia.
Okay.
And so the problem with volcanoes is not so much the visibility. Usually planes can find clean airspace. But the problem is the ash gets into the engine, it crystallizes, and then not good. So we had to there was no way, all planes were shut down in Bali. And I had to start a seminar the next day. And the only way to get off the island was a friend of mine who was also a trader, was married to a Balinesian woman. She had a brother who was a truck driver in Bali,
right,
in Indonesia. And they got a small pickup van, and we had to drive from Bali, take the ferry over to Indonesia, and go all the way past to the airport in Surabaya. Okay. And we get in the car and we're like, hey, do you have any music? And he's like, oh yeah. He's like, I got some great music here. So he puts this little CD in and it's Bon Jovi. And we're like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. But after an hour, the CD ends and it starts playing again. And we're like, okay, well, second time's not so bad. Maybe he just really likes Bon Jovi. But then we're into hour 2 and hour 3 and it keeps playing over and over again. And I'm like, do you guys have any other music? He's like, no, this is the only CD I got. So for 10 hours driving through the Indonesian and Balinesian jungle, we had to listen to Bon Jovi the entire time. We had dreams of Bon Jovi for like 2 weeks straight. It was the weirdest thing ever. So when you said that it just had to remind me of that. So very, very funny.
Okay.
Well, this was awesome. So I don't know when travel is going to begin, but we do have. There's another Women's Buddhist conference coming in December 2021. So December 21, no, December 20, yeah, December 2021 is the next Women's Buddhist conference. That will be in Malaysia. And
Malaysia.
so, when I'm assuming COVID will kind of be, relatively stable by then and people can travel. And so if that's the case, then I'll see if I can make a trip out to Brunei, and it'd be great to see what's going on with your prop trading team and meet the traders and meet you as well. And if not, maybe we can meet somewhere in Singapore or in Malaysia or something like that. That would be fun.
Yes, that would be fun because I also travel frequently to Malaysia as well.
Okay. So then if we can, I'll give you a heads up when we're doing it, but it'd be great if we can meet up in Malaysia. That would be awesome. We can have some really good food out there and talk trading, and that would be a great time.
Yes, sure.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for doing this. I appreciate it, and I hope my viewers enjoy this and learn a lot from it. There's some really good insights here, and again, the continual focus on discipline. That is something that I think challenges a lot of traders, and so Mukhriz is very astutely pointing out that you really need to anchor your mindset to be really focused on discipline, because that's going to carry you through challenging situations. It'll reduce the mistakes you make, and that also builds the right habits and the right mindset that you're going to need to really turn things up to become a professional trader. So I'm really glad you kind of kept bringing this point home, and I'm really interested in your focus on scalping, because it's one area of trading where I've kind of struggled with. I feel like I could do it, but I couldn't imagine doing 100 trades a day. That would be the most trades I've ever done today. I think the most I've ever done is maybe 30 or 40. So 100 in a day would be something new. So maybe I can take some training from you and learn how to do it. That'd be a fun skill to learn.
Great.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for this interview. We appreciate it, and I'll look forward to doing one in the future once you have your prop trading firm up and running, and you have some traders that are really off and running with their trading at your firm. Then maybe we can come back and do another interview and talk to them and see how their progress is going and things like that, and how your firm's growing. So let's plan on that for the future.
Sure, why not? Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again, and I hope everybody enjoys this video, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you, Chris.